Hello everyone and welcome to Crypto Night, the crypto investor channel. I'm Boris, so let's dive in. So lots of big news today. First of all, the CPI numbers are just out and it's looks like it's cooling finally a little bit. They were expecting 7.9%. It's coming in at 7.7%. So it's finally showing some, a little bit better than expected numbers. So of course everything is exploding. The stock market is like plus 2.5 for the Dow, plus almost 4% for the Nasdaq, plus 3.12 for S&P. But most importantly, Bitcoin, big comeback, 17,600. We went as low as 15,300 last night. So it has made like a major comeback, and you can see, from, last night, in the middle of the night, getting down to the 15,300, 400, and now coming way back up. But be very careful because the CPI numbers, that's great that they're good, and it will help a little bit stop the major drop that just happened with FTX. But be careful. Don't think for a minute that, oh yeah, everything is good, everything is back to normal. The whole FTX story will have multiple domino effect and ripple effects over the next several weeks, maybe the next several months. So be very careful out there. Don't FOMO in thinking like, oh yeah, it's coming way back up, so maybe it's time to actually buy back before it goes back up to 19. Going back up to 19 is always a possibility because you never know in this crazy market. But with all the bad things that have happened, it would be very surprising that it goes straight back up to 19. I think we're seeing a pause due to the good numbers from the consumer price index, from the inflation. But there's a high possibility that over the next few days or over a week, we see some further down movement on the prices. You had some questions, I think.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I did want to, add to this, Boris, is, as people know, FTX was very big in the sports world. CNN actually reached out to all their partnerships yesterday. Only one partnership responded, and it was the Miami Heat. And I don't know if you guys know, but they did just sign, a huge deal with the Miami Heat, a 19-year deal for $135 million to be the name on the arena. They said it's too early to determine this, what they're going to do. But it does sound like, their other deals, they just signed with MLB. It's the official cryptocurrency of MLB. The umpires wear, FTX on the uniforms. They declined to comment. They did not want to talk to CNN at all. And then, of course, one of the biggest F1 Formula teams, Petronas, they declined to talk as well, too. So, this is going to be, like Boris said, a big ripple effect because they, bread and butter with sports. What I read online is that other exchanges or coins may come swoop in and, take over these sponsorships, but it is way too early to tell. But, my first question for you, Boris, is, what are the ramifications for this? What can people do right now? What would you suggest them to do? I know accounts are locked, but, what do you suggest people to do right now?
Like most people in crypto, people might have other accounts somewhere else. They might have accounts in Coinbase, Binance, etc., other exchanges. We don't know how exposed some of the other exchanges were. It was, divulged yesterday or the day before that whenever Binance got most of their money from FTX, from the original investment they made, they were paid 2.1 billion, to sell their shares back to FTX. And that happened 6 months, a year ago, something like that. But they got paid in BUSD, which is the Binance stablecoin, and part of it in FTT. So most of that money is probably gone at this point. which means that they lost quite a bit of money. Now, Binance is huge and it probably won't hurt them too bad, but God knows who else has put in money. There was something on Nexo that was very interesting. Nexo really dodged the bullet. So they really dodged the bullet by $219 million. They removed that money from FTX days before the whole thing just fell down and fell apart. If they had not removed that money, they would have lost $219 million. That most likely could have just taken Nexo out. And if you had money on Nexo, it's gone. You know, same situation than Voyager, Celsius, and now FTX. That's it. Your funds are locked. You have to wait for bankruptcy proceedings. Could take months, could take years. So they were lucky that they removed the money right on time, but maybe some other exchange or other platform haven't been so lucky. So be extremely, extremely careful. We still don't know all the ramifications of what's going on. We saw it with Luna. When Luna went down, at first people thought like, okay, it's just Luna. But then the domino effect was Three Arrows Capital got killed because of it. And in their fold, they took with them Celsius and Voyager and a few other victims. So we still, we're waiting for the other shoe to drop right now. We haven't seen everything. So extreme caution is required right now. This number coming back up, that's good. Thanks God the inflation number are better than expected, because at least it stops the bleeding. If they had been worse than expected, wow, we could have seen, maybe $14,000 or $13,000 Bitcoin today.
Yeah,
which we might still see very soon. If more bad news comes out, could be another bad news today or tomorrow, and boom, suddenly you see another major drop. So extreme caution at this point, and making sure that you remove money from platforms, exchanges that have no business being there. There should be in your wallet, in your either hot wallet like a MetaMask or Trust or Atomic, whatever. There are lots of solutions out there. They're all free, by the way. Or even the one step above that, the ultimate, is a hardware key. A ledger, Trezor. Once again, there are different solutions. Those you have to pay for, but they're not very expensive. We're talking, $50 to $100 roughly for those.
To save your whole portfolio.
Sorry?
It's to save your whole portfolio, though. It's a good investment.
Exactly. And when people say like, yeah, but on the ledger, there are a few coins that I can stake, but some of them I cannot. Well, are you willing to lose 100% of your coins to make a miserable 3-4% a year? I don't know. In times like these, it's not the time to place risky bets on I think that this exchange or this platform is going to stick around, or do I just to make an extra 3-4%? Or do I say, you know what, for the time being, let me definitely send it to a key, and then we'll see later what happens.
Yeah, yes, sir. And one thing that I wanted to bring up, Boris, if you can kind of talk more on it, but, from our conversation we had yesterday, I thought it was a good point that you brought up, and I think you should explain to the, the people is, you need to practice this, and you can kind of go more into, moving out of, an exchange. But I think that's some pretty good, information, because, when I got hacked on Coinbase, it was an easy process. I don't think people understand that. So can you kind of dive into that for us?
Yes. You should practice everything on an exchange. You shouldn't wait that it's catastrophe time to say, okay, let me remove it. By the way, how do I withdraw my coins? How do I set it up on Ledger? I've never used Ledger or Hot Wallet. How do I do that? Already set everything up in advance, then practice it. Even if you're like, hey, for like right this second, I'm not going to remove all my coins from Binance or whatever, but already practice it so you know how it's done. Here's a typical example that happened yesterday. Ledger hardware wallets hit by the FTX earthquake. Basically, Ledger got to a point that they're like, shoot, man, we have so much traffic on our system, we can handle it. They saw a massive usage on their platform and they suffered some scalability challenges on November 9th. So that's the problem. So many people rushed to say, let me move everything out of the exchange, put it on my Ledger key. They all did it at the same time. So of course, Ledger is like, whoa, there's too much traffic all at once. We cannot handle it because people waited the last second to move their coins. You should never wait for the last second. The same thing with withdrawing money, because people, and I'm sure a lot of you out there have never even tried once to say, I send 1,000, I send 10,000, I sent $100,000 to an exchange. I bought some coins, but I still have some cash. But what happens if I want to retrieve that cash? How do you get it back to your bank account? Have you ever done that? I think a lot of people have never even done it once. So they have no idea how to do it. And then they're going to have some bad surprises because some exchanges, they're very easy to put in money to the exchange, but the way back is a little bit more complicated because sometimes some of those exchanges do not offer a way back easy as a bank transfer. You have to go through another platform to convert those stable coins into US dollars and then US dollars sent back to your bank account. So one thing that you should do right now is do a one-time run. It may cost you a few dollars because there usually are a few fees associated with transferring back money from an exchange or a platform back to your US bank account, but spend that money. It's money well spent. It's going to cost a few dollars. It's not going to be outrageous. And at least you will know what to do in case you need to do that transfer. Another thing is don't leave too much cash money on an exchange. I understand that you need some money for trading. You need some money for purchasing, but leave enough so that you can trade and buy for the next few months, few weeks, maybe not even few months, but just a few weeks, maybe the next 2 or 3 weeks. And then that's it. In case, once again, of an FTX situation, you are not blocked. Your money is not blocked on that platform. You want to minimize the risks and you want to do that ASAP.
And, for the people, same thing happened to me with Celsius. It's been about 7 months. I have not heard back about anything. So, it is important to take these steps. My portfolio is still locked up. Don't know what percentage or if I'm going to even get a percentage back. So, keep that in mind. And like I said, in hindsight, 2020, I wish I kept everything in a wallet, at the end of the day. But, you live and learn from your mistakes. Luckily, it wasn't anything too crazy. But, if you do have a large portfolio, I definitely recommend you to get off an exchange. That's for sure. But from my side, Boris, I didn't really have anything else to add, other than, if you're not aware, the CEO of FTX was a billionaire and like a 16 billion, worth 16 billion. He's now less, I know it's still a lot, but he's like 700 and something $million worth now. But, his net worth dropped as well. But that's all I really wanted.
Actually, he apparently filed for bankruptcy. He's now $650 million in the hole. So he's nothing. He's actually completely bankrupt now.
Yeah. So there you go. And, I've seen some reports, and Boris may be able to talk on this, but there may be some criminal charges. I already saw that the SEC is going after him already, so there could be some criminal charges coming. Who knows? But don't take the risk. This is way bigger than what happened with Celsius and that stuff. But just don't take the risk. Take it off the exchange, put it in a wallet, and I wish I listened to Boris because Nexo. Boris told me about 3 days before Celsius was going to go down. I was a little busy with other things and didn't have the time to make the transfer over, and they went down. So, Nexo did the right thing, but, just put it in a wallet at the end of the day, or a ledger key. It's going to save you, and also the added stress. I mean, for me, it's been 6 months. It's kind of gone down a little bit, but those first 3 months, I was kind of freaking out what's going on. But I've kind of came to the realization that, if I get anything back, I'll be happy, but I'm already expecting nothing to come back. So, keep that, take that with what you want. But, there's a ton of research out there, tutorials on YouTube, tutorials on Discord, how to set up a ledger key, how to set up a wallet. So, just keep that into consideration. But from my side, Boris, that's all I have for today.
Yeah, just a quick update on Celsius and Voyager. I mean, obviously, with what happened, Voyager was going to be purchased by FTX at the end of the month. So obviously, that's not going to happen anymore. So we have to see what will happen. Somebody else might come in and purchase Voyager. Binance had made a bid. Let's see if they come back to, it was a lower bid than FTX. That's the reason why it went to FTX. But we don't know if Binance is going to be the one coming back to buy Voyager. Celsius, there was a high possibility that FTX was going to buy them. Now that's over as well. But there are people trying to put a deal together to rebuild Celsius. Now, of course, they would not bring back Alex Majenski or any of those guys.
Yeah.
But they're trying to see if they could save the company, probably rebrand it because the name Celsius has been too much tarnished.
Yeah.
But let's see what happens there. So what we see here is that that's going to delay further Voyager and Celsius, people getting their money back, and how much and when.
Yes.
So I'm really sorry for all the people that lost money on FTX. It's not fun. I hope it wasn't too bad. Always think about this, that if it is money, that it sucks to lose money. Even if it's only $10, it always sucks. But hopefully it wasn't, life-altering money. It's not going to change your life, So I hope, it's going to be, you guys going to be okay. As far as the market, we might go further down. We've called 14,000, 13,000 for months now. We said there's a high chance that we see those numbers. There's still a high chance we see those numbers. But in the long run, in the 6 month, 1 year, year and a half, most likely we will see a market coming back up, and then we might see $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 Bitcoin in 6 months, a year and a half from now. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you on the next episode of Crypto Night. Thank you. I hope this video helps. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel. And if you like the video at the end, click on the thumbs up.